Myanmar army has unseated the civilian government from power and has detained several of the civilian government heads, including Aung San Suu Kyi recently. One reason for this coup, which they do not call so yet, which is a coup, is said to be the fear of the Commander-in-Chief of Myanmar, General Min. It is said that he is afraid of the international trial in future for the excesses committed against the Arakan army rebels as well as Rohingyas who were driven out of Myanmar into Bangladesh. Nearly 1 million Rohingyas have been sent out of, and several thousands have faced death and torture in the hands of Myanmar army. In fact, the army was always good to the civilian government because Aung San Suu Kyi extended her full cooperation to the Rakhine state. Aung San Suu Kyi never objected, even at the cost of her own image falling at the international level. She has suffered a serious dent to her image world over for the cooperation that she has extended to the Myanmar army. Yet, Myanmar army unseated her and has now kept her under detention. India has not gone in for undue comments or uncharitable comments against the military government so far and hasn't said anything about or commented against the Myanmar developments, though the West has done. The Western governments have rushed into condemning the takeover by the army and the military rule and have demanded restoration of democracy in Myanmar. India hasn't done this because it has a very good equation with the Myanmar army too. India has followed a twin-track diplomacy in the past 2 decades or so. Its army's relation with Myanmar armies are really good, and this civilian government cooperation has also been very good with the Indian government. But India is now carefully watching Myanmar because of the international pressure. If the international pressure grows and if it pushes the Myanmar army leadership into the China fold, which India doesn't want to, then India might face severe problems. India's security concerns, which have driven it to this friendship with Myanmar army, are mainly because of the northeast region. India's northeast has several insurgency groups that have been fighting Indian government with secessionist ideas over a long time. The Kachin Independence Army, the Arakan Army, and the Wa State Army, which are all located in Myanmar, are aided and abetted by China, not only in their operations against the Myanmar state, but also in training and helping the Indian insurgents. Recently, huge cache of arms was seized in the Myanmar-Thailand border in Thailand, and all of these were meant for the rebels in Myanmar. These weapons and the training that the Chinese government gives to these rebel groups ultimately also helps the insurgency groups in the northeast of India. Apart from extending its help to the insurgency groups in northeast, China has another aim in destabilizing India's work in Myanmar through these Arakan Army forces and Kachin Independent Army and the Wa State rebels in Myanmar. China has its Belt and Road initiative extending into Myanmar so that it can have access to the Indian Ocean. India too has its economic and developmental programs and its initiatives as part of its Look East policy in Myanmar. This Look East policy, which India has adopted nearly 2 decades ago, has several plans envisaged for the region, entire region, South Asian region. With the growing influence of India in Myanmar and other places where India has taken up a multimodal project along with multimodal transit project, along with several other economic initiatives, economic developmental initiatives, including oil exploration, etc. China is worried. China doesn't want India's influence to grow in the region. And it is well known that China stoops low, very low, and deals with such rebel groups and thugs in using them against the project work of other countries in the areas that it has interest. Myanmar is one country in which it has its interest, and India's projects are ongoing there. China uses these rebel groups, these insurgent groups, to halt the work, to damage India's reputation there, and also blackmail Indian government. In fact, 5 of the Indian employees had been kidnapped by the rebel groups sometime back in Myanmar. One of them was killed, and in case of 4 others, these rebel groups demanded that the Indian government talk to them and pay ransom money to release them. This is the level to which China can come down in dealing with India in various ways in and around India. Particularly after this Galwan incident, India has also noticed that there has been a severe fight between the Arakan Army rebels and the Myanmar army. The battle has been raging, the war has been raging between these two nearly for over a year or so. And China has always been helping them out. Now, with the Western world coming forward and condemning the military takeover of Myanmar, India fears that this might push the military rulers into the fold of China. In fact, Japan has warned in the world leaders that they should go slow on this matter because China would immediately exploit the situation and they might take control of the government there. Not only taking control of the rebels, but also taking that of the government, that is the military rulers, China can wield enormous influence in the South Asian region, which it is targeting now. Now, if the West realizes the factors that go into China's image makeover or China's influence in this region and how it increases, if it understands it, then it would not take undue measures or act in haste as far as Myanmar is concerned. This is one of the major reasons that India is keeping quiet over the Myanmar developments. Myanmar army and Indian army have been working together against the insurgents in both the countries. In fact, Myanmar army helped Indian army target some of those rebels getting shelter in their land and has also handed over some of the rebel leaders back to India recently. The cooperation between these two goes deeper even in defense matters.